Thank you very much, Riv. We want to welcome Link and Dexter to the desk. Guys, congratulations on the win. A fairly long game. It seems like you guys are playing these like, we have a Nidalee and we're throwing javelins for a while and eventually the game ends. Is this the plan? Just throw javelins, win games? Or is this how it happens to be planning out?
We just kind of figure out what team comp we want to run based off of what they pick. And we don't really know what we're going to pick beforehand. We just have a general idea of the first few picks and then we just kind of go with whatever.
Did anything change in the game after you see how strong their early game is going to be with Renekton and Corki and Elise and a TF moving around early?
I think we picked ourselves in a really high disadvantage. I mean, the biggest problem is Jarvan. I played Jarvan, and the biggest problem with him is his early game. He's actually really weak. People think, oh, level 2 gank, you can EQ, but it's not like this, you know? If I ever engage on them before and I get counter-ganked, I would just die. And Elise is a really strong jungler, but we had to leave it up because we came into the game with a game plan. And they had really good lanes, TF is really good, and they had the TF set up for, they had Renekton on the side lane and Thresh, which is pretty good for TF. So overall, we almost lost all lanes. And we knew that, okay, we just have to turtle it out. Nidalee has to get strong. And then again, even if you're in a good position to siege, Twitch can't take towers that good. And we had to blow ultimates to take the towers. But yeah. I think our comp was really weird. I think, I mean, I don't want to give too much away, but we had a different plan for Jarvan, so yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you specifically about jungling versus Helios, because he is very aggressive early, constantly going for ganks and trying to make early plays. What's your reaction in that situation when you are working with lanes that are inherently a little bit weaker?
Well, it was pretty obvious that their plan was, okay, we have Elise Renekton, we're going to focus early game on Renekton. Like I told Seraph all the time, you have to ward now. Renekton will dive you with Elise 100%. It's going to happen, 100%. There's no way that it's not going to happen. And we knew that, but at the same time, we picked ourselves in a disadvantage and we had to live with it. Because I think even if I went top lane to counter gank it, he could have still went bot lane. And I had no idea of his pathing. So I was like, okay, I can do the risky thing and stay bot lane because we wanted our bot lane to get fed. Because Twitch pretty much 1-on-5s the game. And we had to sacrifice a bit of farm on Shyvana. But yeah, I mean, Renekton, Elise is really strong. They can dive any top laner. And we knew when we went into that game. So I was really surprised that they didn't get a kill on top lane. So we just had to give up the tier 1 tower fairly early. At the same time, our Nidalee had to farm up. And it was a really passive game. And yeah, Jarvan was the right pick here. So all I could do is farm up and hope for the best late game.
So that was basically a product of champ select, was you guys having to play this style. Is that a weakness then? Link, you said you come into this game and you're like, well, we're going to pick these 3 and then we'll wing it. And it seems like you're like, well, we just got picked into a corner. Do you need a new plan coming into games now?
Personally, I thought it was okay, but
okay.
it was just a team comp where we're naturally weak early game, but when it comes to late game, they really can't do much. I mean, their initiation is really weak. Their only initiation is just TF port and Cocoon and hooks, right? But we have Mikhail's Black Shield, and people bought Banshees, so it's really easy to deal with that. And it's really slow because we do have a Twitch and we have a Nidalee, and they're 2 fundamentally different champions. One is to kill everyone, and one is to poke people down, right? But actually, it kind of works out because I can just poke them down, and then I can also heal Twitch and. You can see his damage. It's just insane. And the game is just basically one off of objectives, and we just control them, and we get vision, and they come in, they get speared, they can't do anything because they're just gonna die to Twitch. And then when it comes down to sieging their base, we just have to take it slow, and then we'll land that one spear, and then we'll win the game.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the turning point, really, because when we went from the weak early game to a stronger mid game, you guys had a really good fight down bottom. If we can get this play up on your screen right now, you guys have some defensive wards, and you catch Helios in one of these really aggressive moves. Can you walk us through this one, Link?
So we basically saw them rotating over from mid, and I was spearing Powelter and Helios on the way, and then Aframo misses his bind, but he lands ulti, and we also cover TFs, or TP, and Jarvan lands the EQ on him, and then Twitch is just going to ulti it, and everyone is kind of in this enclosed spot, and I land a spirit, so Thresh dies, Shyvana ulti's in, Elise is dead, and then we just kind of chase forward, and then I think Dexter ulti is in next year, so this guy's dead, for sure. And if that ulti hit Powelter, then it would have been perfect, but because of this, we managed to get Dragon, and we get bottom tower, and we get all the top lane farm and the mid lane farm, so it's just a huge power spike.
Yeah, you talk about Nidalee and Twitch being, very different champions, but they do have all this damage in a line, and they lined right up for it. It was pretty good.
It's really nice because people will, they want to initiate on you, so they're all walking forward and trying to stun people, and you just have a Morgana throwing binds, and I'm just throwing spears at them, healing Twitch, and then it's just a chaotic fight where we just kite backwards, and they're trying to kill us, but we just kill them.
Yeah, great terrain for you guys to fight around.
And so a setup for a thing like that, right, is that just tracking enemy movements, getting wards down at season coming in, so you know, like, guys, be ready, like, be around this fight, because you guys are obviously in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically, just, yeah, it's like, yeah, okay, you guys did that one. I just want to make sure. I just want to get the setup there.
Yeah.
There was more going on. That was fine. Okay, so it's interesting. Like, so Doublelift also kind of thinking about the champs you guys are playing and the way this comes working out. Like, first pick Twitch once again. I know you guys talked about that, where you knew you kind of the first three things. Does Doublelift need to start pulling 3 bans? We don't see a ton of AD carries get attention. It seems to be like the junglers get pulled down, but people need to.
The thing is, I think we are probably like the hardest team to judge in LCS because we value our picks. Like every week we come into a new week and we value our picks differently. For example, week 1 we were like, okay, we're gonna put high focus on Elise, and then this week we don't really care at all, and we just release 2 strong junglers that I should have left open maybe, and then it's like a counter to Elise or like at least equal matching power. But yeah, we just come into the week with like new strategy and new value of picks, and then we just try to make the best out of it. Like just depending on scrim results and how it goes, we start like, okay, we have a priority list, and then we see what's open, and then we see, okay, what can they pick against it, and is it okay if we play against it, and what should we pick here right now? So that's how the usual thought process of that is.
So just a week's worth of scrims will make you just like, you know what, it's actually these 3 champions we care about. You'll entirely change like your game plan?
The thing is, it can change in a matter of like 1 day. You know, we can scrim like 4 days with like one specific comp, then we play against a different opponent, and we're like, okay, this comp has a weakness. And then we just change picks completely. Like we're like, okay, this champion has a higher priority in our list right now, so we have to take him out or first pick him. That's how it usually goes. And then people have like different strategies and different values of champions. And yeah, we just see what other teams like, what they prefer, and then we see how it works out. And if they have like one really strong champion, for example, like I can't really think of an example right now which team has like a signature champion or something. But yeah, everything is like a thought process of that and how you value champions pretty much. And we go into every week with a new mindset and hope for the best. So.
And no matter how good of a plan you come into a game with, it always does come down to that execution. And in this game, even though you guys had hit that point where you were stronger late game, and it was going to get easier for you, there were some fights over Vision especially, where EG had some good picks on you guys. We can pull up a replay here. They take your turret, and then do a little sneaky gank here around by the white camp.
We saw them actually at the edge, and we were like, okay, they're all there. You know, we thought they would do Baron, but we saw them. And then he missed a skill shot, and we hit the binding, but I got baited in, so I'm the first target that will die right now. But at the same time, I create zoning space for the Twitch to line up, and we got a really good Twitch ultimate off, but it really doesn't matter because they got, like, I engaged hard, which I shouldn't do, and yeah, right now, they just kite us and re-engage on us. Like, their comp is really good for kiting out too, and yeah, they have Thresh against Shyvana, they can just stun a target with TF, and now they're re-engaged, which is pretty bad for us. And they get another kill.
Yeah, Doublelift been walking around a long time in this replay with no mana and no auto attacks coming off.
Yeah, and that's the biggest problem. I mean, they have a really good comp for kiting out. Like, Thresh is the god of kiting, and if you commit with Shyvana, you have to either commit, because kiting against Thresh is impossible. He will just hook you, box you, and yeah. And they had a Ghost TF, so he can just catch up to us again. So it's really hard for us. Like, either we have to commit full, or if we kite backwards, we just die, because they have like TF port and everything to catch up. So it's really hard, and it was a really good spot for them to fight us. So yeah, we kind of shouldn't have engaged there. And we're like, okay, we're just going to out-rotate them, force them to come to an objective, and then poke them. But yeah, I think we were a bit impatient, especially me. Like, I shouldn't have engaged that for sure. And then yeah, I just died and paid the price for it. So.
The Zanya's bait.
Yeah,
classic.
Always. I know. Always Zanya's bait. I always die because of Zanya's bait, but yeah.
So that was a call then, is after that fight. I was going to ask, and you answered it yourself. It's like, so when that happens to you, how do you refocus and change objectives? You're like, oh yeah, we're just going to group up and do the siege thing, rely on Link javelins, and we're going to be okay. So, and that's just like the snap decision. Like that fight ended. Crap, we're dead 40 seconds. Okay, guys, do this. You just take the death premise to make a new call?
We have timers in chat, and then we see, okay, then we have a list of time. Okay, enemy blue buff right now, enemy red buff right now, and Dragon maybe, eventually Baron. And then if all of these objectives are down, the only possibility for us is to siege. And then we had to make like a special plan for our comp because we couldn't siege. And we're like, okay, Twitch, we're gonna heal you with Nidalee right now for the 60% attack speed with Black Shield, and then we ultimate the tower. And then we just back off instantly because we can't fight without Twitch ultimate, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was like a really specific case where we have to really play, like we have to plan a lot to actually make it happen that we can get a tower. But we managed to pull it off in the end.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look at the end of the game here. You guys do get, I think, double if getting a triple kill at one of these turrets. Let's pull this one up for you guys on your screen. Yeah, this one.
Oh, they dive.
They go pretty deep, and you kind of take the brunt of this one, Link. But then, of course, you have another carry on your team.
So recently, I think they forced my flash or something like that. Thresh flashed me. So they use everything on me, and they're all like clumped up. And Jarvan comes in, and he's gonna ulti everyone, and Twitch is gonna come, and he's just gonna wreak havoc. And it's and you can just see it. That was a beautiful EQ. 3 people knocked up, and then Paul Walter Zonias, but he's gonna die the instant he comes out. And meanwhile, Twitch is just killing everyone. And then, well, that's the power of Twitch.
Yeah, just clean people up. So right now, with that win over EG, you guys are now tied for second with LMQ. And Dig's coming up next. If they lose, you're tied for first place. I don't remember the last time you guys actually were in first place in the LCS, but you guys are looking really freaking good now, right? Is this am I missing something?
We're okay.
I think we are like the problem is we're really sloppy. I mean, I think our early game is a bit shaky right now, and then our short calls at Baron, like we are basically the Dignitas of the season. We threw 2 games of Baron, and yeah, I think we are actually every team is equal. I think right now, I think every team has like different strengths and weaknesses. And I mean, even like the bottom 2 teams, like bottom 2 teams is usually like, okay, they can't really win against teams, but EG put a really good fight against like C9, and they almost won the, or LMQ, right? They put a really good fight, and they had the game. Really. I mean, I think they won. Actually, they should have won the game for sure. And you can see that all the teams can basically beat each other. And right now, it's like really every team is trying to figure out what's best for them. And there's no really good team that's like standing out above the rest. Like last split, I think there are like a lot of good teams, and it's really hard for us to like actually pull ahead. And I think we will be like in the middle of the season, probably like still like second or third again. And yeah, every team is like really good, I think. So we have a lot of like, I'm actually having a lot of like concerns about going to Worlds right now. So it's like, yeah.
What will it take for you guys to like solidify like we're the best? Like you said, you're sloppy early game, but like what does it take for CLG to be like, we're NA's hope, we're gonna crush some Koreans?
I don't know. It's really hard. I mean, you can't really see progress in like one day. You have to like progress. Okay, today we're gonna focus on objective control. Today we're gonna focus on vision control, and it gets better, like slowly better over time. But at the same time, the opponents get better too. So if you just don't improve like super hard in like a matter of like couple of days, there's always like the enemy teams can catch up to you too, and then they try to figure out what to run against it, and it's really hard. I mean, if you have like good teams that have like a really good grasp on the game and how to improve and where to improve, like with coaches. I mean, every team got coaches, Analyst. So yeah, I think it's really like a lot harder than last split right now to get better and to actually pull ahead. So yeah.
Okay, well, good luck to you guys. Congrats on the win. We'll see you guys next week, and you'll continue to move up towards the, I guess, the top 3 as you are right now.
Yeah.
Well, guys, are gonna go stealth for one final break before we launch into our last LCS game of the day, Cloud9 versus Team Dignitas, the North